Welcome to the Calexico City Council, Calexico Redevelopment Successor Agency, Calexico Financing Authority regular session. It is 6:38. Call to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Moreno.
Here.
Mayor Virgin Garcia.
Here.
Councilmember Arreola Fernandez.
Here.
Councilmember Ureña.
Here.
Councilmember Ramos.
Here.
We have quorum.
Thank you. Please stand up for a pledge of allegiance.
Ready? Begin.
Thank you. Please have a seat. Our next item is any closed session announcement.
Mr. Mayor, there was direction given to council concerning the matter.
Thank you. Next item is approval of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I do have a brief comment on the approval.
Okay.
Just a very brief comment. I know a lot of the community was here to see a budget presentation and a budget workshop. Unfortunately, for item number 4, due to certain situations, I'm not able, as a council person, to give that budget presentation. I will still be relaying the same information within the item and allowing for the same discussion, but it will just have to be in this format. For the next quarter and for the next fiscal year, we will have more time to have this presentation be fleshed out to the fullest extent that it was intended. But still stick around for the fourth quarter report, or the third quarter report. We'll be giving pretty much the same information, but without the PowerPoint. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So second by,
Oh, second, I'll second.
okay, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carried 5-0. We have discussion and potential action items. The first one is item number 3. That's my majority appointment, and I believe we have, I'm going to allow to have some public comments. We have 2. And Ms. Garcia, do we have any online public comments? Okay. In the meantime, we'll have our first speaker, Mr. Ben Norton.
Mr. Mayor, distinguished members of the City Council, Councilor, and the City Manager, and our distinguished members of the public at large. This item number 3, I have looked at this and tried to digest it, and for some reason, I can't digest it. Here we are looking to remove somebody from the public transportation. Who is the chair? Calexico has a chair of this person for the transportation. But we remove the person, we lose the chairman of this public activity. Now, I'm going to say something, and I hope I don't say it with malice toward the mayor. I feel that the mayor maybe is misguided in his thoughts and the direction that he's going. And I'll give you, for instance, all this week I tried to get a hold of the mayor because I had some issues in reference to Starbucks. And the reason I say that is that we elect people to serve us, to help us to move the city forward. And this is not the only time that I have tried to get a hold of the mayor. Now, I'm not getting a hold of him because I just want to hear somebody talk. I'm getting a hold of him because I have some issues I wanted to present, but I couldn't do it. And his performance speaks for him more than his words does. And trying to remove this person from the transportation is misdirected. And I don't think he can give me a explanation, the reason why, but the reason to do, maybe. And the reason to do is that he's hoping that, the way I understand it, is to remain the mayor for the next term. And I say this with respect, Your Honor. I don't say it in malice, but I hope that you will, within your reasoning, look at what you're planning to do. And in front of the public here, look at his performance, not the words. And then from there, you'll understand what the person is about. And I say this directly facing him, not trying to go behind somebody's back. Because I remember when he told me one time there were certain people that didn't like me or even considered me evil, maybe so. But I move forward and let my performance speak for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Horton. Our next speaker is Mr. Alex Barone.
Honorable City Council, Honorable Mayor, it's a great joy to be here. Haven't been here in a long time. Don't like the circumstances, but I'm here. Mr. Ureña, nice to see you. Mi amiga Gloria, Camilo, Rosie, Mayor, and to City Attorney, Shalom Machum Ka Marishma. You like that, no? Okay. I come with concern because where you at, I sat. And the decision that you're making is not the correct one, because you bring division, not only amongst your colleagues, you bring it amongst your community. And when there's such a decision to be made, you need to take a lot of factors. And one is a person that you're thinking of removing. Performance. Has she led with honor? And is she respected by her peers? Those are very important factors to look at. And I can tell you that the person is respected by her peers, by her community, and her performance has been a good performance. I'm not doubting that the other appointment that you want to do is a person that doesn't have capacity. But removing a share and coming from Calexico, I think we're sending the wrong message. To me, it would be like a political hit, a political assassination. It's really strong to do something like that. And I tell you from my heart, really consider this because, Javier, Mr. Mayor, you're responsible not only for the people that sit here, but for your community. And I think it's good that you think about this and not bring division. And while I'm up here, I know it has nothing to do with this item. I'd like to share with you that it concerns me that we have no plans for public safety. Buildings are being burned, people are being robbed. We need to start looking into it, and you have a very strong background in law enforcement, and I think we need to start taking our city back. And Mayor, it was nice to stand up here with you guys again. I hope you consider my little advice that I can give you, and you have to keep on taking Calexico forward. And remember the statement we have here. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barone. Anybody else? Any?
I have Mr. Ismael Angus.
Hello, y'all. Can you hear me? Yes. So I'm going to make a public comment on both items, 3 and 4. For number 3, it is the Transportation Commission. So anyone that's, you know, uses transportation in many sorts of ways should be the one using it. And from personal experience, I think Raúl is the most vago de aquí. So he's the one with the most experience, the younger one that explores more, per se. Igual, I think it's also, I think Mr. Peroni, oh, there you go. I think it's also really, it's not a political move, but como, it's sending the message, and I think it's the right message, right? Because we need someone that's proactive, we need someone that's on the ball, someone that, you know, cares about the transportation and the vehicle usage in this town. That's just a small comment. For number 4, though, budget. I know budget has been an issue for Calexico for the longest time.
When that one comes up on
Oh, do I have to do that? Okay, so I'll just stay on number 3. Tipo number 3, just logically, like someone that needs to, someone that's gonna be in that chair or whatever committee it is, they have to be responsible. They have to be careful with their cars and just be more on the right side of like just being safe with transportation. And public, I know Raul is one of the biggest advocates of public transport and just adding to the needs of the people, you know, like, I mean, taking away from, supporting the needs of the people. So, and I think Raul is a very quick little ant worker, pero sí, I think Raul is going to be put into, pero no sé. And I think it's going to be a good decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Mr. Ben Reiser.
Thank you for allowing me to come up here. You know, I didn't think I was going to be up here today, and I've been thinking, you know, what's going on, these changes, and it doesn't seem to make any sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Because you have someone who's doing it, which is Rosie Fernandez. She's part of the transit system, and she's been doing it for quite a while. And I've known her. She's been doing it quite a while, and she's been pretty productive when it comes to it. And she's been following through with her responsibilities. So I do not know why you would change something in midstream. You know what I'm saying? That seems to, the idea that comes to my mind is the discrimination involved here. The fact that she's a female, because you used to gravitate to her, you know, as a councilwoman, but now you have separated yourself, you disengaged from her. And I just don't understand that. And the other thing is everybody here, in this panel here, does understand their responsibility, and that includes the transit system. So I think she's more than eligible to do that job, and you just want to replace her for some, to me, it sounds very greedy and pathetic, actually. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reiser. Okay. We also have Silvia Bernal.
Good evening. I wasn't aware of what was going on here. I was here for another reason, and I just found out that it was Rosie, the one that you're the chair. I can only speak highly about Rosie. Rosie served with me for about 10 years on the Hefferman Memorial Healthcare District. I know that she is the person that can handle this job that she's doing, and all of you here know who she is. I really don't see, Mayor, why you want to remove her. But I got a pretty good idea why you want to do it. And you know what? It's obvious to all of us that are here. And if you make this political move, you're committing political suicide. Thank you.
Thank you.
to the right, I know you're the mayor, but of taking her off that commission, if everybody approves her, it doesn't make any sense. All I have to say.
Thank you, Warren. Anybody else? You?
I didn't have the guts to say it, but I just don't feel safe because he did crash a block away from my house.
Oh, come on.
Hey, I'm just saying one
That's
thing.
a cheap shot.
It's not a cheap shot. It's just me
Mr.
physically.
Mr. Harney, we've heard you when you say anything. Let him speak.
Mayor, Mayor, can I make a quick comment? Can we please make sure that if we're gonna be making our public comments, that we're doing it up here?
Yes.
Up here on the
Needs to
microphone,
be
that
on
way
record.
everybody is able to hear them.
Ismael, Ismael.
Adelante.
Okay, and then I want to get up.
That's fine, you're next.
Yeah. We don't want.
It's
we
at
don't
the
wanna have
mayor's
little-
discretion.
And we just want to make sure that our guests that are watching via the internet are able to hear these conversations as well.
That's true.
Thank you.
Yeah. So just a small comment. I just literally don't feel safe, or it doesn't seem right to me for someone that has taken unsafe decisions, mistakes could even be said. Pero I just don't think it's. I think the mayor has full right to do what he's doing because he has the power to do it. He wants to do it, let him do it. Some people might think it's political. Some people might think it's for just the work ethics or whatever. But to me, it seems ironic that she's there. But it's also, I'm sure she does a good job, but it's his decision. So, yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Horton?
And Mayor, we also need to remind the public that we do need public comment sheets if we're going to be doing this. Please.
I'm going to say one thing, and I want everybody to search within your thought process. How many of you have made an error in judgment, but yet you pay your dues? You pay what it has to be done. Now, and I'm going to be very firm on this, and not to be out of control or anything. Just because you have the power to do something doesn't make it right. It does not make it right. I will stand by Rosie. I could turn my back to Rosie, and I have no problem about what she's going to do. If you want to say one thing, I have known Rosie a big part of my life. And I'm going to say one thing, we may have disagreements, but there's never a disagreement about her integrity. Her integrity is there. And I want everybody to look at me. I have made mistakes myself. And if I have to say I made a mistake, I will say that. And I will pay my dues. Rosie, and my sense of thought process, paid her dues. And one thing that I can say this without any fear of contradiction, she walks well with me. And I want to remind the mayor again, just because you have the power to do something doesn't make it right. What makes things right is your ability to have self-conscious and your integrity. And if you do something that violates the trust of the community for political gains, the community will remember like they said. And I thank Sylvia for bringing that point up. We will remember. And when we remember, we'll do it by voting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Horton. Our next speaker is Mr. Gilberto Manzanares.
Hello, good afternoon. Estoy hablando solamente to remind the public that, and let them know, that the person you're referring to, which is Mr. Ureña, is one of the most proactive members of this council, without a doubt. When you refer to Rosie, and I remember, because you say you won't forget, I don't forget, the first 2 years of her being in council, no item was ever requested from her to be put in the agenda. 2 years, años. During the pandemic, the mayoral hours were closed for an entire year también. No hours, no visitation hours, not even a Zoom option. And that's what the rest of the county was doing. ¿Por qué? Pregúntenle a ella, ahí está sentada. So, un ejemplo, with the ARPA plan, the allocation of the monies. When the city manager proposed a plan that a lot of us didn't like, muchos aquí expressed that they didn't like it. Camilo said that he didn't like it. Rosie didn't actually say a single word during that meeting, during the workshop, as you remember. Camilo said he didn't like it, and then at the end, during the second meeting, he said that he would have wanted this, he would have wanted that. But where was the action? Nadie se movió. The one person that moved is sitting over there in a blue shirt, Mr. Ureña. He didn't like it. He had other ideas for the money, so he proposed something. He put it in the agenda, he made the effort, he made the calculations, y ahí está, se votó, and it got approved. Without a doubt, we are removing somebody who seems to not be proactive for somebody that moves. If he was able to do that sitting there, imagine what that person can do in the ICTC board. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? No? You want, it's your, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, right. You can, Joanna Espinosa.
I'm really short, I'm saying. Okay, so this is for the item number 3 as well. So just, first of all, like, it's nothing personal against you, Rosie, or, you know, apoyando a Raúl. Like, it's not personal at all, you know? This is just like an executive decision, looking at it objectively. Raúl has proposed so many things about transportation since I first met him. I came back to Calexico when I was 20, turning 21. After the pandemic, and the first impression I had of him, we walked along 2nd Street in downtown, and he was telling me his plan, you know, like, I envision this here, expanding the public transportation, and I mean, public transportation is something that's really necessary for the elderly, for the youth, to go to IBC, to go to, like, schools across Calexico, if it's gonna be local, you know, but from one bus you get to the other one, so that one takes you to El Centro and further. So it's just necessary for the whole community, that's what I'm trying to say, from seniors to youth. And like my other peers keep saying, you know, like Raúl has been the only one that has been proactive and like proposing and drafting all of this, researching. So it would just make sense to have him in that place. Unfortunately, like Rosie, you know, you've had your turn and it's not against you, like it's just like you've been there the longest, so I guess that's the reasoning behind it. So yeah, that's just my opinion on it as a citizen. Thank you.
Thank you. You have any online comments? No comments? Three, okay. All right. So now I'll open for discussion. Who wants to go first? Rosie, you want to go first?
Well, I would like to know the reason that you are taking me off. Besides that you want to put Mr. Ureña, and you're right, Mr. Ureña is muy movido, he does a lot of stuff for our community, but isn't it, like Mr. Ben Horn said, you want to secure your votes with Ureña and Romo because you want to continue as mayor. You have voiced those things out there. By many people have heard you say that. Before you were with us, you turned pretty quickly. And you know what? I have no respect for you. And your peers, the same. Mr. Ureña, you know, it's not funny.
Let her speak. Go on, hold on. Yeah, you'll have your time. Okay, good. Rosie, you're done?
No.
Okay. Ms. Garcia, you want to wait or you want to?
I'll wait.
You wait? Okay. Ciudadana?
I wanted to clarify two misconceptions that were said in the comments. Some people said that if Rosie Fernandez, Mr. Mayor, in your discretion, you decide to put somebody else, that the chairmanship will no longer be Calexico's. That is just completely false. And the chairmanship is of the city of Calexico, and the city of Calexico. It is a falsehood to say that the chairmanship is of a certain person. It's actually of the city of Calexico's representative. So if a new representative is put in there, that is the person because the city of Calexico is the chairperson. And then the second one, it also applies to any conferences that that chairperson is going to. Representation will continue. This is just your executive decision.
Okay. Romo. ¿Gusta decir algo?
Mayor, no, it's
Gabby,
only
just
your
real quick, Gabby, do we have the other mic that maybe Councilman Urania can use? Because I just want to make sure that everybody's message is heard, and I don't think we can actually hear that.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
There we go. I'm so sorry about that, public. So just to correct two falsehoods that were set up here during public comments. First of all, this is the mayor's discretion. This seat is of the city of Calexico's representative. The chairperson of the ICTC is not Ms. Fernandez. It is the city of Calexico's representative. So if, Mr. Mayor, you decide to have a new representative, that is the person, at least going in, that would be taking that chairmanship and would be able to attend any conferences or just have the same representative capacities that the current chairperson has. And yes, ultimately, it is up to your discretion who represents the city of Calexico. I've been an alternate for a while now, and we leave it up to your hands. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arena. Mr. Romo.
Only say it for, it's your decision, Mayor. No comments.
Thank you. Mr. Garcia?
Thank you. I also would like to know the reason, even though you're not obligated, you have said it before, and you can invoke the same right or the same statement. But one thing that I just want to caution is the division. It's that only Calexico. When we were starting about 2 years ago, close to 2 years ago, we said that we were coming for a change. But I don't see any change, at least from the way that we conduct ourselves. Many times I heard, people were tired of the backroom deals. And someone said it last night also. And, I'm not stating that that's what's happening here, but many times we have said also that we have to be transparent. And I don't see no transparency in this decision. I don't see no need for us to be discussing this decision. And then also, we do have that chairmanship, but also ICTC has bylaws. And since they keep on bragging about doing research, you should have done your research and looked at the bylaws of ICTC when it comes to chairmanship. If for some reason the chair is removed, the committee, ICTC committee, can decide and will decide who the chair will be, but not necessarily will be Calexico. So Calexico will go to the bottom of the pile again, and we will have to wait a few years to get the chairmanship again. So yes, I know that some of us have a talent for things, but instead of pointing out, I think we should be more of a working together to benefit the community. I understand we need transportation, we need to improve mobility. And we just had actually a walk audit for the Rockwood project, closing Rockwood between First and Second Street. And I didn't see any of you on that walkout to provide feedback. But yet, we say that we're very active. So again, let's not pick and choose. I would like to know if possible, and if not, that's okay. But at least I'm not in support of this type of move, not halfway through or at any point. At any point. So I think if there's a way to improve, and if you know how to improve those things, I think you need to share that. It's not good to keep it to yourself. It doesn't look good to our community. So that's my comment.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. So, a while back, Ms. Ariela Fernandez was a mayor, and she put me up for a mayor pro tem, and she gave me that trust. And then I moved up to mayorship. I was really humble in such a short time that I was able to hold this chair here. So I'm continuing with that trust that the board membership put up to me, and also because I got elected to serve Calexico. So I will tell you the reason why I'm making that appointment, aside from all that you got thinking, because you don't know. And I did it deliberately. I didn't answer nobody's calls because I want to be public to tell you the reasons why. Because if you pick up the phone and call half of the world, that's an achievement. I want to avoid that. This is what we talk. This is where we make decisions. And they're right there on Facebook looking at us. And I want to be transparent. Okay. That's my point of reference for my reason why I made that. First of all, I'm not removing Rosie. I don't know who came up with that term. We're not removing nobody. We still have a seat at the table, whether it's chair, vice chair, member, whoever. Okay? We're not removing Rosie. I'm simply going to appoint her to another commission. If you guys recall, a while back, I came up here and I'm working with the sister city, okay, to create a binational health commission. And we're in talks with the mayor from Mexicali, so they're forming that. I need an expert in that. I'm not an expert. I'm not a doctor. They're not doctors up here. She is a nurse. All her life, she's a healthcare. She knows the area very well. I'm not going to put a carpenter up there or a mechanic. I'm going to put the expert in the field. Okay? And I did that because she trusts me to make that decision. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done that. Because she put me up here to make the decisions. This is why. Now, I try to talk to her. And that's fine. She's entitled to opinion. So I want her to come with me, hand by hand, and be part of this binational coalition that addresses health issues at the border, at the local level. The president's not coming, the governor's not coming, the board of supervisors is not coming. We have the ability to make our own change locally. Work with the sister city in Mexicali to address those issues that are more. And it's not only COVID, because we're still in a pandemic. We're also talking about cancer, asthma, everything that to do women, healthcare, and she is going to go with me. I need her on my side. Okay? Now, that is a space at the Imperial County Transportation Commission. Now, whether if it's we got the share, we don't have a share, it doesn't matter. As long as we have a tape with hearsay at the table. So who do I have? Okay? That's what I have left. Mr. Garcia is busy with his work. He's so busy at the workforce development, doing his thing over there. Okay? So I said, what do I have? Romo? Not an expert in this. She already has the ties in Mexico. She helped us with that. Mr. Ureña was the next one. The last choice. I think he's capable of doing that. Okay, we all know. Now, I have talked with him, and I won't say it in public. Mr. Ureña needs to tone it down. He is going to tone it down because he gave me his word. And you saw that when I said, hey, because otherwise we'd be fighting. We need to stop doing that. Long story short, this is the reason why I'm doing it. We're forming a health coalition. I need Rosie to come with me to attack those problems, that she is an expert, that I'm going to rely on her so we can give reports to the community. And Mr. Ureña, who's so eager to work, no, we're going to give him an opportunity. You know why? Because he also was elected by this people. He has the same opportunity like anybody else up here because he was elected. So I'm going to give him that opportunity. Now, I told him, you messed up, we're going to put someone else too.
So it remains the same.
Hold on. No, we're going to appoint him, and she's coming with me. If she wants to come with me, the coalition, the commission, the Binational Health Coalition, I extend my invitation. If not, I have to get somebody else. I have two left.
Where is it on the agenda?
No, I'm just giving you the reason. Okay. All right, so that's the reason why I'm making the command decision, the executive decision, and it's not, and any of you been up here, it's hard. It's hard. So please don't politicize it. It's about healthcare. We got better issues, okay, to address here in Calexico. And we're starting with a change. We got elected up here, we got elected to make that change. We're making the change. And I tell everybody, it's gonna get worse before it's gonna get better. But we're gonna come, and by the way, my State of City address on June the 30th, I'm gonna speak about all that. But you know what I'm gonna bring to the State of City address? All the health workers, all the people that help us maintain the city open. We need to recognize those people. We're not gonna politicize it. No, we're gonna thank those people. So making that change is needed if we want Calexico to move forward with this. So there's my speech, there's my reason why, right? I have the authority to do that, and I'm appointing Ms. Urania, and she's gonna come with me. That's all, thank you.
Mayor, I just have one comment. The problem here, the big major problem here is you're not.
Mr. Morris, if we can,
That's the issue. Come up to the microphone.
if we can just make sure our public comments are through the documentation and addressed up here on the speaker, and we're doing that way, just everybody can hear, please.
Okay, are you done?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I humbly accept the nomination.
Thank you. Mr. Raul Fernandez, will you come with me to the Health Commission? Rosie, will you
What's
come
that?
with me to the Health
I'm not
Commission?
gonna answer you right now, okay? Did
Okay.
you already,
All right,
okay,
that's
did
fine.
you already take
I
me
respect
off?
that.
Did you already vote take me off and you already put Mr.
You're
Urania?
not, nobody's kicking you out, so I'm asking you politely.
I'm asking you right now.
The next meeting.
Okay.
Did you already? took
Okay,
the-
we'll wait, that's fine, thank you.
No, I need to know right now.
What?
She's asking for.
I'm being removed and you're putting Mr. Urania?
You're not being removed, you've been appointed to another commission.
No. I'm being removed for ICTC. That's what I
Okay,
need to know.
all right. Yes, you are being removed. He's
Okay,
in it.
and your appointment is who?
Mr. Urania.
Okay, that's on record, you heard that. Well, let me tell you what I just received in a text. The ICTC Commission on 100% vote voted to change Calexico as the chair of the commission. We need stability. And they told me it's not your fault.
Thanks to the mayor.
So, we're done.
Excuse me, may I step up?
We're done with the comments, moving forward. Thank you. Item number 4.
It was about Hefferman Memorial, that I want to know why we're not involved in this health, this reform.
That would have to
Okay,
be,
okay,
Miss-
we're gonna have a discussion later on.
Ms. Bernal, I'm sorry, just to clarify, it is a special meeting, so we have to stick strictly to the agenda.
Right.
At the regular meeting, definitely come and ask that question so we can include you.
That should have been a factor.
Okay, so we're moving forward. Thank you, I appreciate your, thank you for your comments. Moving forward, item number 4, please, Mr. Senior Manager. Number 4.
Yeah, so we're ready to, as you guys, I'm not sure if everybody's aware, but at our last regular scheduled meeting, we had the topic about the third quarter budget, and we were provided with a status report. Due to time constraints, we were not able to finish that meeting, so we moved it forward till today. So today is just a continuance of our last budget report meeting. So at this point, I'd like to invite our finance director up. And basically, at this point of our report that we presented, we were just at the point where we were taking questions. And I think that's where we should probably start off from, just taking questions and considerations and thoughts that you guys had at the time. And at any moment, you guys are obviously free to ask those questions. That way, we don't have to go back to the budget report. We're just following right in line. So it was the recommendation to, go ahead.
Yes, our recommendation was to do an amendment, to consider a resolution to amend the budget to meet the requirements brought to our attention and be in compliance with our audits and our state regulations. The reason why we're asking for this request is because, as I explained on the last meeting, there were some expenses that were done. They've already been expended and they have already been paid. And now it's up to the council members to decide and vote if they want to continue with that, because we need to have a balanced budget and have it with the state and regulations. That's where we stayed off with. You guys had comments, you guys had taken
Okay,
questions.
so just for the record, it's a recommendation, right? Your recommendation? Okay.
Yes.
Well, we need a vote for
Okay.
the
got it.
resolution. We do need a
all
vote.
right. Any discussion?
Yes.
Oh, you got, on this item? Okay, all right.
I think we also had public comments.
Yeah, right here, I got it. You're gonna go through those first.
Those are Zoom, but I think we also had, yeah, we got a couple of those, okay.
Yeah, we have.
All right, just making sure, yeah. And it's
Our first speaker is Veronica Martinez.
Okay.
Yes, hi, my name is Veronica Martinez. I'm a community member. I'm an El Centro resident. And I just wanted to, also I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have a 5-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old son. And I just wanted to provide feedback. From what I understand, item number 4 is regarding the budget. So I wanted to provide feedback on how important these services are, like the services that Calexico Recreation Department has and the city of Calexico, the Camarena Library. They've been amazing for me and my children and their well-being, their development, even through, even before COVID, during COVID, and after. And it's just been awesome. My daughter's 5 years old. I homeschool her for preschool. I'm gonna homeschool her for kinder. And these resources have been amazing. All the staff in the Calexico Library and the Calexico Recreation Department have been amazing. Their customer service is the best in all the cities in the Valley. And like I said, I come from El Centro. Since you guys opened up classes June of last year, I've been taking my daughter to ballet and basketball in Calexico. And, I was going 4 times a week at one point in the summer, 4 times a week coming from El Centro. My baby at that time, I think he was like 3 months. He was with me sometimes, and my daughter, she was 4 years. And I just want to stress like how important these services are to the community here, especially here in the Valley, where I'm a stay-at-home mom. It's kind of like we have a budget income because we're only living off of one income. And Calexico's prices have been very, very affordable compared to, for example, City of Imperial, City of El Centro. I feel like they're too expensive there. And so I just wanted to provide that feedback and let you guys know what an amazing job that all the staff is doing, Lizette and all her staff. I can't think of the boss at Calexico Recreation, but she's awesome. Coach Jamie and Sandra, everybody's amazing. And I just want to let you guys know to please, keep that in mind when you're doing the budget for these services. And I thank you for keeping this so affordable. And I know that there's a lot of I talk to other parents that go to these classes in the community, and they're very thankful for all this stuff as well. And like I said, for me personally, I've had the best experience with these type of services with the city of Calexico. And I go all over. I go El Centro, Imperial, Heber, Hopeville, and there's no comparison. So thank you to all of the staff, and they've been awesome. And I hope that it continues and that it continues to be affordable. And kudos to all of them at Calexico Recreation and Camarena. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Our next speaker on Zoom is Alexis Rangel.
Mayor,
Yeah.
if I can make one point real quick. Just keep in mind that when we're the conversation.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, you know what? Let's have her do her comment.
Okay,
then
yeah,
I'll-
go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead, Ms. Rangel.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good evening, city council members. I just wanted to show my support for the budget and also for many of these agencies that need the money. I just want to make a big point about these departments need to have the necessary tools to do their jobs. I know last last week when I was looking at the council meeting, it was a little disheartening to see a lot of people talking about the police cars, giving them back and so forth. I mean, we wouldn't ask a teacher to go without the necessary things that they need at school. I have 3 children. I try and fight for the teachers as much as I can. We want to make sure that everybody in the city of Calexico, all the workers there, have what they need to do their job. And unfortunately, that does require vehicles. Yes, vehicles are expensive, but you need to make sure that you are giving your workers the tools that they need. And that goes for all departments within the city. It would be nice to see, instead of tabling these items, you guys as a council coming together and making a decision, because that's why we vote for you guys. I'm a mother. Unfortunately, I can't be there every week. I do try to watch as much as I can, but it would be great if you guys could start coming together and doing what's best for the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Fabio.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a point here that tonight's conversation is not constructing the new budget. We're going to have the opportunity to have input from the public as well as the departments that are going to be asking for the budget. That's the goal. So the goal of tonight is to do the budget amendment, and then these conversations, obviously they're welcome whenever they want to, but the goal to build the new budget will have the opportunity for a lot of these ideas to happen. I just want to make sure that we're clear that it's not, we're not building the budget tonight. We are fixing a budget amendment to our third quarter.
Great. Thanks for the clarification. Makes sense. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I just want to make sure Chief Avila's and interim city manager's comments are not misconstrued, but the time for budget amendments is specifically the time to make decisions for the current budget. A lot of what it would be complacent to say that there's no decisions to be made right now. We should not be in the mindset of rubber stamping a budget. I'm going to let the rest of the people speak, but just be very clear that there are very serious decisions that do need to be made. There is no one clear way forward. There is an infinity of possibilities that can happen with this, so extensive discussion is appropriate. Analytical discussion is very much appropriate.
Okay, so moving on, we have 4 public comments on item number 4. And the first one is by Mr. Ismael Arvizu.
Yeah, thank you for the making more clear what we're doing here today. Myself, I'm a huge advocate for water stations, and I know we got a fire station being built. It's not there yet. They got the fire trucks under a little tarp. And I know fire stations are like a water station, right? A hydration station. So I'm really concerned about it because Calexico needs change. We have a community fridge downtown in 2nd Street in front of the 99, in the thrift shop of Blanco Morales, Calexico Wellness Center. And that's probably the only free water you can get in town other than, drinking from someone else's manguera, or just bathing in whatever water you find anywhere. So I'm highly concerned. This restroom that's right next to the city hall, there's no water there, for restrooms or for drinking fountain. So that's a huge concern for me. If there's going to be a budget amendment, or we're going to be creating a budget soon, I think we have to put that as a priority. Last year, 2021, 23 people died because of the weather we have out here. It's not because they died because, están matando, lo que sea. It's just basic necessity. And clean water is a human right. Even though we might not have it, we might be violating some human rights out here, but we have to learn that we have to help our city, even those that are not citizens, because a lot of people get mad, people from out of town get the water. We just heard a woman that comes from El Centro to use our resources. ¿Por qué? Porque son buenos, So let's welcome our tourists, or welcome the workers that cross the border every day. El campesino transfronterizo, nadie le hace caso. And those are the people that make the money in this valley, Well, that make the money for the valley. They don't make money as much as those farms do. But we have to be more considerate of the people that walk our streets. them being homeless or any kind of person. There's so many students. Como I'm sure you guys can see it from your office out in the back. You see the students walking from the 9th grade in the high school. You see the line of ants. They look like ants porque pues son muchos. And I always see them like sweating, you know? And they walk through 2nd Street and I tell them, hey kids, there's free water in here. What do you think they do? They run in there. They get that banana. They get that water. ¿Pero por qué? Porque aquí no hay nada que pueda dar eso. And it's sad to say that our city has no drinking fountain. The only drinking fountain we do have that I know is the Kennedy Gardens one, because that's where we adopted the park. No one's going to walk to Kennedy Gardens to drink some water, right? Y pues I know the Camarena Library is a water station, but I think we have to develop a little bit more modern system to keeping our whole city hydrated. Porque si no te deshidratas y everything is, people complain about, you know, poop in the street, pero pues ¿por qué? Porque estás deshidratado. Así de fácil. But other than that, I think budget has to be extremely visible to the public, because we can crunch numbers too. You know, there's a lot of people out here that know their numbers, and you might need that help too, because I hear a lot of times, you know, we don't have the money, we lost the money or this and that. I know there's been allocations of some measurements that shouldn't be allocated to city budget y todo eso, so we got to keep track of that. And I know it's just very few people, and I know you guys do a lot of work. And that's why we're here to help, más que nada. So make it visible, make it transparent, and we can help you out and give you the better solutions that you might need. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Benny Horton, you're up. Sorry, Mr. Horton, go ahead.
Here we are again. Mr. Urena, if I can ask you, what was I appointed to on the commission?
As of now,
No, what was I appointed to when you appointed me?
I appointed you in full faith to the Economic Development Commission
And financial advisory.
and Financial Advisory, correct?
How many meetings have we had?
0 meetings.
And why is that?
City staff, we have to.
No. Don't blame the city staff.
No.
That's
Excuse me, I'm answering your question. And it's public comment, so I'm actually going to wait until
Okay,
you're
here's
done
what,
speaking and I'll
I'll
answer your
finish
question.
my statement. We have a commission. Everybody's saying that we should be doing this in reference to our budget. I was under the impression that the budget was supposed to go through the commission. We're supposed to review it, give our comments, and send it up to the city council with our comments. Has that happened? No. And why hasn't it happened? I don't want to use the cop-out to blame the staff. No, ma'am, no, sir. I blame the council for the ineptness of it. You're talking about what you want to do, and thank goodness for the chief to keep us going straight. We're here to do amendments, to do whatever. We're supposed to do that for you beforehand and send it up to you. Has that happened? No. And why hasn't it happened? Mr. Mayor, why hasn't it happened?
I'm waiting for you to finish.
Okay, because,
And just to let everyone know, if it's a public comment, we cannot interact
okay,
with the public.
I'll make it very quick, because the city council has been inept. We have a purpose as a commission to get the job done, to help you in reference to the budget. And have we been able to do it? No, because we have been denied the ability to do it. Everybody's sitting up here saying that we need help, we need to do this, we need this and that. And the reason we don't have it is why? Because the ineptness of the city council. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Benny Horton. Next one is Norma Aguilar.
Good afternoon, Norma Aguilar, 839 Heber Avenue. I come here to address the budget amendment resolution. And what I want to address is the fact that once again, Measure H monies are going to be used to balance the budget of Calexico. Once again, without the oversight of the Measure H committee. I was appointed last year in April. There has not been a single meeting of the Measure H committee. I sent multiple emails to the previous finance director and was not provided with the backup or the support, and no meetings ensued. I was told previously that all the money to Measure H has been committed and it cannot be, there's no money to be oversee. However, I want to remind this council that in the last discussion that there was, because there's projections for Measure H revenues. And if I recall clearly, but I pointed out that there was $125,000 that was used previously on a previous budget. And I remember distinctly, Mr. Garcia, that you said, I disagree with that, and I understand that we have to do this, but I don't want this to happen again. And here we are again, and it's happening again. I don't know, I didn't set my timer, so I don't know how quickly my time is gonna run out. But I want to remind you and remind the citizens of Calexico that there has been more than 5 years without any report as to how that money is being used, whether we've had exceeded revenue, and now you have $125,000 that should go under the purview of oversight by the Measure H Oversight Committee, and that is not happening. I mentioned previously that previous administrations had done things that were not in accordance. For example, there was emergency funds. We had I want to say over $2 million there. That was absorbed into the general budget. Was it ever put back? No. And going back to that the monies for Measure H are committed, there was a discussion, there was a public group meeting, and then it came before the council. The previous administration of council passed the budget either not knowing that that was built into, that they were approving a budget without the Measure H's approval or oversight to balance that budget. I never got a straight answer whether it was an oversight by the whole council or a deliberate decision. But in either case, it was done without oversight. And it will continue to happen if none of us speak up. I will continue to speak up, but you know what? It's getting kind of tired carrying, this little bag alone. I'll go even further back to when this measure was implemented. The first time it ran, it was supposed to be a majority. It lost, so they repackaged it, but they sold it to the community. They sold it to you, to us, to the citizens, that this money was going to be allocated specifically for recreation, safety, and the elderly. I was on the first panel of commissioners or oversight committee, and we held as long as we could to the spirit of the law because it had the potential, Measure H had the potential to become what it has become, a slush fund for the city council and the city staff to dip into when there's not other money. So if there's revenues beyond what is projected, then let it come to the commission and let recreation, if recreation needs more classes for our seniors, for our kids, basketball clinics, then let's do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Gilberto Montanaro.
I'm sorry, I forgot the most important statement. I'm asking you, council, to please, if you need to pass this resolution, pass it without the exception of the allocation of Measure H funding. Thank you. Sorry, I forgot.
Buenas tardes. I want to make a public comment regarding this item number 4. Porque sí estoy un poquito concerned. Aquí estoy mirando $210,000 that are being proposed to be transferred to the local police department for police vehicles. But as a citizen that, has been following what the city has been going and doing, I'm confused. Porque, and correct me if I'm wrong, but don't we have 4 brand new fully equipped police vehicles coming down the pipeline, según yo? No, son 4. But then we also bought $73,000 from Measure K, from the cannabis industry, their revenue, to buy a 5th one. So son 5. And then from ARPA, we allocated $600,000 y pico for more police vehicles. Estos eran 6 fully equipped police vehicles and 2 police trucks. I think that's more than like officers that we have on the street right now. No, you should know, ¿verdad? So why $200,000? Otra vez for police vehicles. Aquí Ms. Aguilar está hablando about allocating monies to programs for seniors. Y yo les digo, I have a little brother that aquí practica soccer teams in the field. Mr. Romo, I just saw you there because you made a speech. I was already there because my little brother has soccer practice. No tienen donde practicar. You saw how en un campito chiquitito, because they had to make 5 soccer games happen in one field. We don't have the resources, pero if we keep allocating all this money to reduce crime, ¿verdad? Because more vehicles equals safety, según. But when you take away all these extracurricular activities and opportunities for our children, ¿a qué van a recurrir? If we don't have them aquí entretenidos en sports, in arts, in culture, en lo que sea. Estamos tratando de patrullar todo, but we don't look at the root causes, which is a lack of opportunities, a lack of recreación, arte, cultura. Y entonces al último vamos a terminar con un budget which is all police and zero culture and recreation. Para nuestros seniors también, they need services as well. Ya sé que Calexico tiene bien poquito y tiene que hacer mucho con poquito, but ya les di los números. We already have a lot of police cars coming. So why are we allocating or propose $210,000? From what I can tell, it's the vacancy allowance. And correct me if I'm wrong, this is for fulfilling puestos que no tenemos todavía. We don't have a finance director. Entonces expliquen ustedes, how does this make sense? Más cuestan muchísimo. But $210,000 invested in senior services, invested in parks and rec, es mucho y muy poquito para la policía. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Joanna Espinosa.
Buenas tardes again. I want to speak about the public restrooms that we still have no access to. Earlier today, me and Ismael gave a tour to about 14 students that came from Massachusetts to visit Calexico because they're studying border towns. So we gave them a tour of SDSU. We gave them a tour of the streets around here, City Hall, and we went towards downtown to show them the community fridge. And it was really embarrassing to explain to them that we have no public restrooms when they asked us, hey, is there a restroom to go to? I had to point them to the 99-cent store across the street. There's no water, public drinking fountains either, aside from our fridge. And they didn't want to take water from there because they understood that that fridge is meant for people that are unsheltered, that are on the streets, Experiencing this one day of heat, it was 103. We're still expecting the worst, which is, our typical 120s. There's a need for water and there's a need for restrooms. People go into the restrooms to take shelter as well, and I understand that that's also a liability because there's been incidents where there's, vandalism, they destroy things. That's what usually the excuses we hear when we ask for public restrooms. But no les da vergüenza to be the only town, the only city in the Imperial County that doesn't have public restrooms available. So that's just something that I want y'all to consider when you're making allocations for the budgets. And so you don't spend, a ton of money. Like, take half of that from police cars and fund it towards the things that are actually needed, instead of, just giving them more militarized equipment that's really not needed. Fund the programs, fund the basic necessities, and like, for sure, you're gonna have a reduction of crime. Like, that's just research, and those are facts. So, thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Silvia Bernal.
Hi, everyone. I just want to ditto what these young people are saying right now. I've been wanting to ask this question for a long time, but I get a lot of senior moments and I forget. I want to find out why Crummock Park, being a public park, is fenced down, and why the restrooms are not open. I know why, but it doesn't do any good for me to talk about the past. I want to talk about the future. They're mentioning that there's not any places for kids to play. That is take down that fence. I will go and help you take down that fence. I don't know how much I can help you with, but I will go. That's a public park, and no one should have it locked up. Shame on you.
Thank you for your comment. Anybody else? Any online comment? No? Thank you. Okay, so discussion?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So let me see where to begin. I'm not going to give the whole spiel that I was going to give in terms of the vocabulary on budget. I'm just going to go straight into the decision that we're making tonight. There's two big adjustments that we're trying to make that are at least proposed. One of them I'm okay with. The other one I'm not okay with. I want to discuss further. The one I'm okay with is taking $200,000 out of ARPA to finish the fire station one. That's fine. The $210,000 on the police vehicles, I'm not against police vehicles necessarily. I'm just really not okay with the fund that it's coming out of. So let's go back a little bit. Forecasts. When Miguel was here, I would talk a lot about economics and forecasts with Miguel, because specifically, not as an economist, but as a statistician, forecasts are my expertise. That is what I studied. The nature of forecasts, how accurate forecasts are, and I have a pretty good sense for it. The last quarter amendment brought in a surplus of $150,000 in sales tax, which would have been enough for Measure H. This one I was anticipating because it was going to reflect an open border, and I was talking to Miguel in the past, and I was telling Miguel, that thing is going to be at least $300,000 in surplus. And Miguel said, no, be conservative, we don't have money, it's going to be $150K. It is $530,000, more than $500,000. I was not only correct, I was more than correct. I have a very good sense of forecast. And after this budget, I'm going to be going into the finance department to evaluate the forecasting methods, because that is what I studied. So that's number one. So it's an absolute darn lie that we do not have money. If you look at this budget, there is $240,000 in employee MOU adjustments in negotiation. We're giving someone a raise. I can't say because that hasn't been signed, once that deal is negotiated, but we're adjusting for it now, right? So that's $240K, and I'm gonna leave it there because I can't legally discuss it further. We have a big savings in vacancy allowance, $210,000. That's what they want to use to patch up a mistake that was made. The wrong fees were used to buy police cars that we could not afford. We obviously couldn't afford them out of the general fund, because otherwise we would not be having this discussion. A mistake was made by the finance department and by council and the city manager. It went through all those levels, and no one caught the fact that you couldn't use that money for this particular purchase, and now we're liable. I at least I will not approve that until I see the contract and I am convinced that I cannot return those police vehicles. Because here's the other one. The police vehicles that were ultimately purchased were not the hybrid Ford Explorers. Gerardo came up here and said, well, I don't like them. I drive a Prius. I drive a hybrid vehicle. I don't know what made Mr. Gerardo think that he could make an engineering analysis on the reliability of a hybrid car. But the savings back then for that hybrid vehicle per unit were going to be $5,000 to $6,000. The high gas price now at $7,000 to $8,000 per vehicle. You're talking about $7,000 to $8,000 on 4 cars. 8 por 4, 32,000. 32,000. Now you add the 8 cars that were not hybrid, 8 times 8, 64,000. That's almost $100,000, the entire Measure H, that we're not saving just because no reason. Decisions were made, they did not come here, and we even used the wrong funds. That's the level of finances that this council is doing. So we have to put a big old pause and make some corrections here. So, and I do have a proposal, and I'm almost there. And so just to be very clear, and I do want to move forward, this is, let me answer the commission questions. When I said city staff, it isn't, city staff is not doing their job. Quite the contrary, they're overworked. We need to allocate in this budget help for clerk so that she can run your commission meetings and we can receive your input. That is my goal. That is why I am fighting for this. To make sure that you, and especially you, so you can actually have something to oversee, and that your commissions actually meet. If those corrections are not made, you will not have commission meetings, and you will have council to thank for that. That is what's on the line right now. Aside from that, there is a traffic jam in planning. Not only do we have really good sales taxes compared to the rest of the valley, a big, fat $500,000 over forecast, which is great. That should be like national. Only in Calexico, $500,000 sales tax surplus coming out of a pandemic. With being right next to the border and how that affected us. Not only that, planning department has a traffic jam of 40 commercial and residential developments that are on hold, being slowed down because that department, building, engineering, and planning, don't have enough staff. We want to double this sales tax. We better get that development through the door. And if we don't put it in this budget, back to the line, 3 months. I know, Mr. Horton, you are an excellent economic developer. I put you on that commission for that reason. If planning doesn't get their staffing, you can expect to go back to your investors and say, sorry, the council decided we're not going to invest in planning, and you can expect to wait at least 6 months for your permit at the city of Calexico. I don't want that anymore. And that's why I'm so upset. Because those are the things. Measure H is before police vehicles. Planning is before police vehicles. Arts and Rec is before. If you're talking about 4 police vehicles or all these programs, you know what we have to say. I can go on and on. Anyway, so this is about staffing, and yes, this is about tools. So, with that being said, I think what needs to happen is for the police vehicles, we need to see the contract. That doesn't get approved from any funds until we know that we can't get out of it. Especially because we missed the opportunity on hybrid vehicles. Contract first. We need to use that vacancy allowance on immediate things. Now, if it comes back that we can't get out of the police vehicle thing, then fine, we'll consider taking it out of ARPA at that time, if we are forced to do so. But for now, the immediate needs, and I'll go through them one by one, and yes, there's an allocation for police, because I want to get bodies in your department. Planning, calculating the reclassifications and the stuff that was, and the additional positions that were requested by the director, Development Services Director, it comes out to $110,000. That needs to come out of vacancy allowance. That's the only, that's one of 2 that would be permanent recurring costs. $110,000 for planning, building, and engineering staff in the itemized way that was presented. Police, Mr. Serrano, you're trying to hire how many positions? 2, 3? What's your, what are your staffing goals? And just for clarity, we've had trouble hiring police officers because the salary is not high enough.
So currently we have 24 allocated positions for the police department, and we're at 22 right now. So we need 2 more to get fully staffed to the allocated positions as per the budget.
Excellent. So my suggestion, and I need to check with legal counsel, we should be allocating anywhere between $20,000 to $30,000 to that staffing budget to make sure that you can attract those recruits. Obviously, we're not getting them because of the salary. We need experienced officers. So I think, would you agree 20 to 50, 20 to 30 would help you get those officers?
Yes, definitely, depending on what kind of incentive package you want to offer to
Of
that
course,
role officer.
of course. And it all goes, whether it's salary or incentives, it comes out of the fund. So 20 to 50. Muy bien. I'd rather get some bodies in there than buy more cars that have no bodies, for sure, right? So that's a proposal. I don't know if that has to go into negotiation with the union first, but that's that's something else. We definitely should be leaving that there in case we need to make that kind of move. 20 to 50K for police, 110K for planning. Norma's department, which is arts and recreation, she asked for $2,000 for the commission costs. That should be allocated. There's money for it.
How much was that you said?
2,000.
2,000 to cover the year. Sí. Para sus comisionados. El pago de $50 que aprobamos. $2,000. If she needs more, she can come back and ask for more. And then we should also allocate $12,000 to that department to have a full-time cleaning crew. The community is not able to use the community center or is being charged outrageous prices for the community center simply because we don't have a stable allocation for a janitor in that site. We should just, we can take the cost up front. It would help Norma. It would help her stress levels. It would help the nonprofit organizations that want to do business with the community. And it just is better structured if we do it that way. So $12K, I believe, is the cost. There's a project going on in Calexico where they want to paint, what are they called? The electric boxes? The electric boxes. We can definitely afford $1,500 for stipends for that. The kids are already doing that work. And then Pride, it's June month. I had a budget request from library and from recreation for about 1,000 or 1,500 split evenly so that they can do the Pride celebrations for the month of June. Ese es otro tema. Eso queda en el. Ms. Romo is asking, just for transparency, pool money to open the community pool. That would not be in this budget. That's future next budget. We could allocate it here. There's definitely money for it, but sería mejor en el próximo. O apenas que lo quieres agregar. ¿Sabes cuánto cuesta? No? Okay. And the last one, I think there we've racked up 110, anywhere between 2050, so 110, 150, another 15, 150, 165. 210 minus 165 is $45,000. Those $45,000 back to Measure H. At this point, just because of the severity of the things, we won't be able to give you the full allocation, but I think we need to at least make a commitment and a start to say $45,000 and then keep incrementing from there. But I just want to get that commission started. There's allocations in ARPA that would help us run our commissions. There's a lot of things in ARPA that will address the things that were said here. Another issue is we just have to start itemizing the ARPA allocations as soon as possible, and that is something I'm working with the fire chief. So with that, I will conclude my comments, and I am happy to hear from my compañeros.
Just to make it clear, the vacancies, we cannot use it to cover for FTEs. And I do have a meeting tomorrow at 8 a.m. with the planning director because we're going to be discussing those positions that you were requesting. But at this time, by the time we hire them, they're gonna actually be until next fiscal year, so that's when we're planning on putting them.
Just out of clarity, what needs to happen for that vacancy allotment to be used for an FTE, or what are the approved expenditures? Just one time?
For the FTEs, we cannot use it because these are just vacancies, allowances, and it's an estimate that that's what we're gonna be having until the end of the year. So we can't use it we cannot commit to use it for something future. We can use them for something that we already expended. For example, the vehicles. I mean, we can strike that item for the vehicles if you don't approve it now. We can go ahead and do, if I'm not wrong. Attorney,
Yes,
we can-
I think the consensus is everything, well, not everything. Measure H and the vehicles are the ones that will not pass. And that's just a guess based on, and I'm talking about the community, not the council. But everything else, yeah, I would make a motion to approve. Not the vehicles until I see the contract, and not Measure H until we find out what's actually left. And yeah, I'm happy, and I'm very happy to see that you're collaborating with the planning director so we can allocate those as soon as possible.
If that's, just for confirming, what was your motion for that one? Just for I can,
I move to approve the budget amendments with the exception of the $210,000 transfer pending the contract and the Measure H transfer.
so we're looking at the vehicles and the Measure H transfer. Is that something that we can work with? Yes? Okay.
I want to throw a wrench in here. I'm thinking, Mr. excellent ideas, excellent, but I allude to legal. We're going through an audit right now, and some of these things may or may not fall within the preview of flowing from. So we need to be, I mean, I understand that. So we need to be careful with that before we even vote on it, okay? Because some of this not even for voting. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you have questions, you can bring this item back, right? I mean, so if there are questions, if there are open issues, let your staff look at it. You have a meeting next week.
Specific to the government code, when going through an
this-
audit, we can't be doing, I mean, we should be legal, conducting, I mean, actually asking legal counsel if it's all this is.
So what we're proposing, this is gonna be our third attempt at passing this. We do one more, this is our fourth attempt, right? We need to get this done before we can start working on our next budget. So if we make, if we follow Mr. Ureña's motion that's on the board right now, I believe that is something that we could do.
This is the most important.
But I just want to, there is some urgency on passing tonight, because the longer this goes on, the longer it takes us to get our next year's budget going.
I think realistically, if this motion passes by June 1st, because we're going to have a week to just figure out 2 items. Like we reduced it from 10 to 2. By June 1st, you should have a completely approved budget. So I'm making a motion to
Yeah,
approve.
I'm okay if, I mean, obviously, I'm going at your guys' direction, right? But I just want to reemphasize that that we do need to take some action, and preferably tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't want to extend this again, and then we're leaving us with, we're gonna be at the fourth quarter with a couple of seconds left, and we don't have the team for that.
I understand. So my motion is to move forward with most of this budget, to approve all the budget as proposed, with the exception of the police vehicle movement and Measure H. Those will for sure come to June 1st, and I'm almost certain we'll be able to make a final decision then. Is that a reasonable time frame?
Okay.
Excellent. Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
I still have
Yeah,
comments.
I know. Just wanted the motion on the floor. We're gonna go to comments.
Yeah. So we can be here all night discussing specifics and going over allocations, but we got to keep in mind also what it is that we have to do here, right? And we look to you for not the recommendations. What recommendations? And at the end of the day, we're the ones that provide the direction. Yes, I understand that, but what I want is also very clear deadlines, timelines, obligations, what we cannot do, a specificity on getting out of contracts, because, again, you know, I do agree with Mr. Ureña on some things that sometimes, you know, we go with rush decisions and we find ourselves later on having to go back. And I think that is just, you know, time wasted and resources wasted also. Then also, on the other hand, what I want, and I think someone alluded to that, I want this money to go back directly into the community, whether it's through services, recreational services. I want money to be put into operating a summer pool program, you know, because, again, we're talking about soccer, kids having access to soccer fields, but what I want also, a structured summer pool program that, you know, children, adults are gonna have access. Where this comes from, the monies that we have, we will measure age. I think that was part of the intent also for those monies. And I don't think none of us here will, you know, argue against that. I think for the contrary, that will be something that people will get behind it. And this is one way that is, some of these monies are returning back to the people, which they belong to. So I request that we come back also for next meeting with an allocation for the pool program. There's already some efforts. So come up with a clear direction, clear numbers on that, please. And then also, let's not forget that we also, on the last meeting, we were looking at the rainy day fund. We can't really forget that also. We are at only 45 days.
What was that again? I'm sorry?
You know, putting money on into the reserves also.
Okay, reserves.
Yes, we're only at 45 days.
45 days, okay? So yes, you know, we need to invest some of this money, but we also need to put some of this money away, right?
Okay.
So remember, goal is to have 6 months, right? And that's what we have to have. So let's not forget, and yes, we can go back and forth and analyze the numbers, but at the end of the day, this money has to go back to the public with feedback from the public. So I think all of you here and here agree to that. So there's no discussion. So we want, you know, suggestions for us that consider the citizens. How to put back money to the citizens right away, and how to put away some monies for the rainy day fund, for the reserves.
And you're talking about the vacancy allowances.
I'm talking about any money, okay? Not just, you know, whatever vacancies had not been filled, but then also something that I have been saying, that we also need to be strategic in investing also. And part of the investment, and I've said it many times, is that investing in our people is the best investment, because that's how we're gonna get return on that investment. So whether it's planning, whether it's recreation, whether it's public works, look, public works, parks, we need people there. We need to finish up our parks. We need to make sure that we go back to some of the unfinished projects. So we need to get them to the finish line. So whatever we need, whether it's the station, fire station 1 or 2, we need to make sure that we put money. You know, we need to get some of those projects off our list. But it seems that, you know, we can't really check them off of our list. So let's allocate, come back to finish up things, so at least we can scratch them off. And then also, as soon as possible, convene the Measure H, so we can not just only be in compliance, but we can also have the feedback from the community. That's my comment.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Excellent point. Thank you.
I totally agree with Mr. Garcia, and again, this money, we do need to finish what we started. You know, we still have Cordova Park, we haven't even started Heber Park. We have a lot of things on our plate that are half done. So we need to complete this, and we need to give back to our community, whether it's through recreation or you know, our senior citizens. So, like I said, I think we have some work to do. I do thank you for it.
what were you doing?
I'm sorry, just to clarify my motion, that, and also just to say, this is a level of professional unity and analysis and collaboration that is going to get us to good places. And I really thank Mr. Garcia, Ms. Fernandez, Romo, and Moreno for the level of discussion and hearing me. But for the motion, the 200K for the fire, that's coming out of the emergency fund, right? Okay.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay, so just clarify, I know you had mentioned the pool, and then Mr. Garcia had mentioned the pool.
So-
Would you want to amend the amount?
So what's going to happen?
Hey, we need to remember that we have, this is the primary goal first. It sounds like you're talking
Yes.
about topics for maybe future.
No. So what's gonna happen if this motion passes is there's gonna be two items left pending, which we will finalize in June, and that is where you would be able to put those allocations June 1st.
Just want to make sure we get them in there sometime.
Yeah, but not for tonight's though. No, that's what I
Right
wanna
now,
make
it's just
sure.
approving the majority. Yeah.
Yes, because I want us to tackle this before we start taking on another
Excellent.
project.
Thank you. Okay, so the motion is on the floor, second by Mr.
Second.
Romo. Any more discussion? No? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you. Motion carried 5-0. Well, I guess that's the end of the meeting. Motion to adjourn at 8:10.